I'm so high with no edibles. You ask how does it feel? It's incredible. And now I'm standing on my pedestal. Y'all got no morals, y'all unethical. I'm so high with no edibles. You ask how does it feel? It's incredible. And now I'm standing on my pedestal. Y'all got no morals, y'all unethical. I got a baby face, call it. What's going on, y'all? This is Terrance. I want to welcome you to another edition of Terrance Hill TV, presented to you by WTV over the digital airways of YouTube. We are live. I can't stay long because I have a 30, in 30 minutes, I have an appointment somewhere, but I do want to address this topic that everyone is talking about pertaining to Shannon Sharpe and the latest accusations against him. Before we get into the reaction and talk about Shannon, hit that like and subscribe button. Also hit that notification bell as well to be notified whenever new content is uploaded. Check out the community section as well, where you guys can vote on polls and check out some other videos of mine as well. There's a lot here to kind of unpack. I'm sure a lot of you are already in the loop that accusations have come out alleging a SA or the R word lawsuit for upwards of 50 million. He responded saying it was a shakedown, and it was weird. I was watching First Take this morning, and literally while they're on the air, the TMZ tape breaks out of a conversation with him and the Jane Doe accuser. And in that tape, which is not a good look for him, I'm not saying he did or didn't do anything. That's not what we're here to do. We're just looking at this from an objective perspective, because we know this age we live in, that AI or stuff can be edited and doctored and chopped up and all that. So, but for him being an employee of ESPN, this is definitely not a good look. I know he had the incident with the whole Michelle thing, and that was kind of a laughing matter, and he was able to get past that. However, it's interesting that the whole thing with Michelle has come up in this particular accusation in a previous one of another lady saying that he has recorded them without their knowledge or consent. And maybe the whole Michelle thing was a attempt that went bad to film that the lady didn't know about. That's just what's being alleged in the actual documents and lawsuits and things of that nature. So he's definitely in a whirlwind right now. So we're kind of keep our eyes on this to see what's going to come out. But I do want to kind of bring up a few points to address all of this. So TMZ, which somehow they know everything, right? So Shannon Sharpe's offered his accuser at least $10 million to settle case. Now, that's it to me. That's just my personal opinion. I've never been the person to think that you should settle if you're innocent. I know a lot of times people do it because they don't want to deal with the trial. Maybe that could keep you from all other business and things that you have going on. So sometimes people would just try to settle to make stuff go away. But $10 million, so it has to make me think, what does she have now? I think there's some audio out with his attorneys confirming this amount, and I think the girl or the lady, I should say, was a OnlyFans worker. And these are the things that you have to be careful, because you're putting yourself in these types of situations. Now, that's just my opinion. If you're paying for it, then you're already putting yourself kind of like in trick status. So when you are tricked, you end up being tricked. And I watch Nightcap. I watch Club Shay Shay. I watch him on First Take. So this is not me attacking Shannon. I like Shannon. I like his commentary. I like his personality, and I don't agree. I don't agree with everything he says, but a lot of stuff that he talks about on the air, I do agree with him on. There are times I think that he goes a little too far on certain topics or whatever, but I know he's a very passionate guy, and it's just I just kind of chop it up. It's just maybe a difference of opinions on certain topics or whatever. But when you put yourself in this situation, and again, I'm not saying what this lady is accusing him of, he didn't do, I don't know. I'm just giving my opinion. And this is something that maybe other celebrities or other people with, even if you're not one, just people with resources should, be careful and take into account. But when you have the type of resources that you hiring OnlyFans, workers and things of that nature, you have to think that maybe, especially in this day and age, conversations are being filmed. You got to be careful what you text people. Things can be screenshot. Phone calls can be recorded. You let people come to your house. Hidden camera devices and things of that nature can be there. And you look at circumstances of people being accused of certain things, and this is something that can be looked at maybe as embarrassing. Maybe you have a certain fetish or certain thing that you're into and you're paying for that. So sometimes maybe they don't want that information to come out. But not only in this situation are you dealing with this particular person, but when you go to the extreme of being with maybe an escort or someone that you're paying for, then you have to think about even the agency, or if she's working with someone, then they're going to want money and stuff like that. See, you have to look at this whole Hollywood landscape that, the position that he's in, okay, he's one of the top media personalities out, almost 2 million followers on Nightcap. I think they're like around 1.7. Club Shay Shay, last I looked, was over 2 million. And then he's been on ESPN, First Take for about a year now. Then prior to that, he was on Undisputed with Skip, and he was with CBS for many years, CBS Sports. So he's been around for a long time in this media game. And then you look at his NFL career. So it's not like he doesn't know the layout or how things go or whatever. But unfortunately, sometimes when money reaches a certain level, some people just don't know how to behave, man. Now I know they joke about this stuff on Nightcap about um, and it was a conversation I think Monday night or Saturday night. ISO Joe from the NBA was on the podcast with them, and they were talking about uh, some conversation came up about a older woman being with a younger man. And then Shannon talk, see, but what if a man wanted to be with a younger woman? Then y'all gonna say I'm a creep and I'm grooming and blah blah blah. This is like a couple days before this accusation even came out. But now you kind of see why, in certain instances like this, maybe you shouldn't be dealing with someone that young or whatever. Not to mention, you don't even know how her parents may feel to have I don't know what color she is, but I'm assuming she's white, just for the reasons I'm just assuming. How her father's going to feel about a man, hell, maybe possibly his age, being with his daughter, and especially you're a black man or whatever. That's gonna ruffle some feathers, and that's gonna possibly make um people just not like this thing. Even look at Tiger or whatever. I love Tiger, but what he was going through at the time and the infidelity and stuff like that. There's a lot of eyes on that, man, and you got to be careful how you move out here. And people looking at the situation, they get like a little dirt on you, and then they're trying to possibly blackmail you or extort you, and not necessarily just in the context of Shannon, but just in general, that you have to really really be careful out here. um just who you're dealing with and who you're dating. The city I live in, we have this community on Facebook And one of the headline things this today was talking about STDs in the city and talking about like a rise of HIV. Let me see if I can find it right quick. It was the head thing on there talking about STDs here in the city. Let's see. Okay, hold on. I'm almost there. So you got to be careful out here. With disease and. Okay, here we go. I don't know if you guys can see this. So it says so. There's too much light for y'all to properly see it. Uh, well, anyway, just take my word for it if you can. Well, you know what? I'm gonna screenshot this to myself so you guys can see it. I can put it on the screen. Okay. All right, 1 second. I didn't mean to go in this direction, but it's very important what I'm bringing up. So, okay. All right, give me 1 second to get that uploaded. Hey, I'm telling you, you got to be careful out here, man. You really got to be careful how you move. Okay, here we go. Okay. All right. Let me take that down for a minute. And stop screen share. Okay. All right, here we go. Here we go. All right, this is my city I live in. It says, so it's an HIV breakout in Montgomery. This is sad and nasty work. Now, I didn't, I kind of cropped it. I didn't want to put the person who posted that, name in the particular photo. But yeah, that was like headlined on our city page today. And whole lot of people have been, commenting on it and stuff like that. And, that's been something that's been talked about for a minute, what's going on around here in this city. So you got to be careful, and you're dealing with people who, in this context or other contexts, you're dealing with people who selling and you're paying money. You don't know. And again, I'm not saying this trying to attack this young lady. I don't know what her involvement is. She could be telling the truth. And if she is, the truth is going to come out. But even if she isn't telling the truth, this is just something that Shannon needs to like really be smart. Stop putting himself in this situation, man. You're not, you're 57 years old. Like you're like a 19-year-old. Like really, man. I don't get it. So Lanny J. Davis, who's representing Sharpe in the ESPN personality civil lawsuit against Jane Doe, said in a meeting the proposal was doodled out during mediations with the plaintiff within a month ago or so. He made this response this morning. I think this is it right here.
To my family, friends, supporters, and colleagues, I want to speak to you directly and from the heart. This is a shakedown. I'm going to be open, transparent, and defend myself because this isn't right. This is all being orchestrated by Tony Busby, who has targeted Jay-Z. Tony Busby targets black men, and I believe he's going to release a 30-second clip of a sex tape that tries to make me look guilty and play into every stereotype you could possibly imagine. That video should actually be 10 minutes or so. Hey, Tony, instead of releasing your edit, put the whole video out. I don't have it, or I would myself. You know what happened, and you're trying to manipulate the media. The encounter in question took place during the day at her invitation, and now that appears to be a deliberate setup. coordinated by Gabby, also known as Carly, on OnlyFans. Gabby and Tony Busby want $50 million. What they're getting is sued for defamation and trying to take me down. My career is all about real talk and honesty. I know my family and fans know exactly what this is about. And I'm going to be out there telling you whatever I need to say, just like I always do. I love all you guys. Thanks.
All right, so that's his response to the lawsuit. Now, I don't know, has he, let me know in the comment section, has he responded to the choking audio? I think this is it right here.
You don't want to see this.
Viewer discretion advised.
You're gonna need some backup. Feel good, feel right, feel free. Bring it on.
Pluto TV. Stream now. Pay never.
Like, I don't know. Anything I say, you're just gonna like get mad at, and you're just gonna hang up on me. So I feel like
I'm not gonna hang up on you. Here's what it is.
what does that even mean?
Nothing, Gabby. You want to be a dick to me now, so.
I don't want to be. Don't manipulate me.
I don't know that mercy. If you say that one more time, I'm gonna fucking choke the shit out of you when I see you. Thank you.
Okay. Well, I don't.
You know what?
Well, I don't want to be choked.
Yes, you do. I don't think you have a choice in the matter.
Pluto TV presents The Black Collective.
Check it.
Movies, shows, and 18 channels of Black entertainment, all streaming.
Okay. I don't know, man. I mean, like, what do you guys think? This ain't good, man. This is not good for Shannon. I got to get out of here in a second, but I want to close on one thing. This is from a couple years ago. Okay. All right, here we go.
When you go back and look at his history when he played in the NFL, he should have tarnished it already. I talked to people that was in the room when Brett Favre went into the Hall of Fame, and nobody mentioned about text messages that he sent to that jet masseuse. Nobody mentioned anything about the addiction.
Okay, right there. Okay, you're talking about addiction and the Jets masseuse. Okay. Now, whatever issues he has with Brett, I mean, obviously, it's pretty personal or whatever. This is when Favre was alleged to be involved in this whole welfare scheme, which he's never, been convicted of. But when you bring up that whole thing about the masseuse and all that kind of stuff, you just have to make sure that your house is clean, because when you whatever it is, whether it's Zion with OnlyFans or other people, when you talk about other people, obviously what you have going on is going to be looked at. And this is just something that I still remember that transpired, because he went really hard this day,
that he suffered from. But yet T.O., they brought up everything. Can you imagine if T.O. would have had an incidents like Brett Favre off the field? T.O. still to this day right now would not be in the Hall of Fame. Yet they walked right past it like Brett Favre did nothing.
That is true. I give you that.
The problem that I have with this situation, you got to be a sorry mofo to steal from the lowest of the low. Skip, Mississippi is the poorest state in our country.
It is.
Its citizens So if that a poor state, Brett Favre is taken from the underserved. You made $100+ million in the NFL. And they talk about, well, he didn't know. This is what Brett Favre takes. If you were to pay me, is there any way the media can find out where it came from and how much? So if you got to ask this question, is there any way the media?
I notice Skip ain't saying much, and because I think Skip is not dumb. He's not dumb, and a lot of people have their issues with Skip, but he's not as dumb as you think you are. Because sometimes when you say too much, this type of stuff is kind of can come back to haunt you. Now, you want to get into the whole thing. If we really want to start looking at the personal lives of Hall of Famers, okay, that's a certain quarterback. I won't say his name, but let's just say he's not in my top 5, but he's in a lot of people's top 5. He ain't as squeaky clean as you think he might be. And I'll let you guys ponder on who that name might be. So if you want to start bringing up, the character of certain players and stuff like that, you're going to tell the truth or tell the whole thing. Don't kind of nitpick at the people that you don't like really, really go there if you're going to go there, but nobody's going to risk blowing up the whole thing. So I'm just saying, like, the self-righteous stuff, just got to kind of be careful with talking about the character of certain players and things of that nature when you don't have all the information, or you do have information, but you don't touch it because you're friends with someone. That's the stuff that I don't agree with. But leave your thoughts in the comment section. What did you think? What do you think is going on with this case? How do you think it's going to turn out? Is his employment in jeopardy at ESPN? That's a possibility. A lot more information I look forward to coming out. I think his lawyers talked about this was a consensual relationship at some point, and then it turned. A lot of, just information is all over the place right now about this, but this don't look good for Unc, man. Before we get out of here, those who want to follow me on all the social media sites, you can find me on Instagram at I'm in the Hills, Facebook, I'm in the Hills, Snapchat, I'm in the Hills, X, formerly known as Twitter, I'm in the Hills, and TikTok, I'm in the Hills as well. Those who want to donate to our efforts, the Cash App is I'm in the Hills, Venmo, I'm in the Hills, or you can send a super chat. I have 2 websites, www.doubleetv.com, 2 E's, that's my production company, and TerranceHill.com as well. Really appreciate you guys for tuning into this edition of Terrance Hill TV. Hit that like and subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Those who want to support our efforts, the Cash App again is I'm in the Hills. Cash App is I'm in the Hills. I really appreciate you guys for tuning in, and leave your thoughts in the comment section, man. What do you think this is gonna do for Unc? If you guys have any additional information, let me know. So we'll keep posted, man. We'll definitely follow this story and see what transpires. All right, see you guys next time. Take care.
I'm so high with no edibles. You ask how does it feel? It's incredible. And now I'm standing on my pedestal. Y'all got no morals, y'all unethical. I'm so high with no edibles. You ask how does it feel? It's incredible. And now I'm standing on my pedestal. Y'all got no morals, y'all unethical. I got a baby face, call it